Not exactly the news you want to be coming here with on a Monday, as we just got this per Ben Johnson a few minutes ago. Chicago Bears rookie second-round pick Shemar Turner will miss the rest of the 2025 season with a torn ACL. Bears have a ton of defensive issues right now, and adding injuries to the list. Steve, I think you just said it best. When it rains, it pours. And you can't stop the rain. Got to break that down and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talk here on the Windy City Breeze. Blow to the team. Listen, that's really all you can call it. Shemar Turner, it felt like he was starting to pick up a little bit of steam. Can't sit here and say that he's been great all season. He hasn't been a big part of anything, missed a ton of time in the preseason. But you could tell he was starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Only had 5 solo tackles on the year, only played in about 70 snaps this season, but felt like you were starting to see a little bit more from him on the edge. And not going to see any more of that this season, unfortunately, with Shemar Turner going out here. This is one that sucks. I mean, when you talk about depth pieces, when you talk about guys, starting to get their footing, guys you spent high draft capital on, guys that you spent high draft capital on, not being able to see yet another one go out there and make an impact, especially with a second-round pick. That's one that's always going to be a blow to the team, because you hope that you can develop him to a point where you feel comfortable about him towards the end of the season. Also going to get Austin Booker back off of IR. So for the people who have been saying, we want Austin Booker to get a shot, seems like he's going to get it now. I'll tell you that much. Seems like he is going to get it now. There's not enough the depth on this defensive line for you to avoid bringing him up now. And I mean, sometimes that's how you create your opportunity. Now, as much as we want to see, as much as I want to see Austin Booker go out there and make a play, make an impact, show me something that no one else has on this team. Bears defensive pressure in the NFL right now. I mean, it's just ranking the defensive pressure. It's abysmal. It truly is. It's one of those. It's one of those things that make the signings that you've made this offseason, Dayo Adangbo, Grady Jarrett, even though Grady Jarrett came back in there and gave you a little bit of energy, a little bit of, gave you a sack. Well, I shouldn't say that. He gave you what should have been his sack. They credited it more to Gervon Dexter. I still don't get that one to this point, but yeah, I mean, like as you head into, this trade deadline right now, you got some guys who have an opportunity to make a name for yourself. And I think the biggest thing this Bears team, just listening to the press conference that Ben Johnson just had, the biggest thing this Bears team is looking for out of the day is discipline. Guys that can go out there and make plays and be disciplined. You can kind of tell that Ben Johnson and this coaching staff are 110% sick of the penalties that are happening in that building. And they're ready to get that thing fixed. So if you're able to go out there, you're able to play with discipline, you're able to play aggressive, and you're able to make an impact on the game, I think there's a great way for you to make your name for yourself here. And Austin Booker has all the opportunity in the world presented to him. I want to see what you're able to do with it. I want to see what you're able to go out there and produce with it. And hopefully, we're talking about the Bears finding a diamond in the rough here that they still needed to develop, that they already had on the team. But hopefully you're talking about them being able to go out there and find a diamond in the rough at that edge position. When you get opportunities, you can't waste them. This is the NFL. When you get opportunities, you cannot waste them. And I hope that Austin Booker doesn't waste his. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments as well. Appreciate you guys for showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. The injury bug piling up again. We talked about this a little bit this morning, with where this team is at, and that injury bug seeming to continue to pile up. This is a little bit more than just soft tissue. We keep talking about all these soft tissue injuries. This is a little bit more than just a soft tissue injury, but this is one that I think, yet again, right? New system, new regime, at new ask. This was his first year in all of this. This was his first year in the system. And you saw kind of what that uptick from college to the pros was just for him, and how long, how much time that he's missed. That's probably going to be a storyline for the rest of this year here. Yeah, that's probably going to be one of those conversations that we have for the foreseeable future with this team this season, because guys have to get their body ready for what's going to happen this season. And it seems like as we continue to get here, while guys may have been in shape and may have been, ready to go for what they thought was going to be the outcome, you're seeing that the pulls and the hamstrings and the groins and all that stuff is saying otherwise. That Ben Johnson is asking you to do more. Very similar to what we saw in years past here in Chicago. A Tavera said, "I'm hopeful Booker can be the guy we need. At that." Oh, I'm hopeful that Booker can be the guy that we need at that D-line, because damn. Yeah, bro, listen, honestly, that's the big thing. Sometimes you do find a diamond in the rough that way. Sometimes you do find a gem. As crazy as it is to say, right, and we've talked about this with really, really great players in the past. If I'm not mistaken, I believe when Warren Sapp talks about his story, he talks about it in the sense of, I didn't think I was going to get a shot to get on the field because of how he practiced. No, it's not Warren Sapp. Who was it? It was why am I blanking? Steelers pass rusher. James Harrison. James Harrison talks about, his opportunities being, he didn't know if he was going to get a chance to get on the field because the coaching staff wasn't really rocking with him like that. And you got your opportunity to show something. You showed somebody something that they couldn't believe. They put you on that field. But you don't get 50, 60, 70 opportunities to go out there and prove yourself. You just don't. So take advantage of this one, young fella. I want to see Austin Booker go out there and ball out. I want to see him take advantage of this. I want to see him go out there and dominate. Because there's not a ton of times that this is going to be an opportunity afforded to you where they have nowhere else to turn, so they have to put you in. Coaches make bad decisions at time. Prove to them that not playing you, not activating you over the last 3 weeks was a bad decision. That's what I want to see over the next 3 weeks. And then we can, then you build your resume from there. As we continue to move down here again, if you're just getting in here, Shemar Turner out for the year with a torn ACL. Flacco said, Ben Johnson calling out the leaders to straighten this team up. Who are the leaders? LOL. None of them are vocal. You know what? I think when you talk about the captains on this team, I think this is the kick in the butt that maybe they need. And what I mean by that is the biggest one. There's only one that matters, right? When I hear you're calling out the leaders, you're calling out the captains to get this right. There's one that matters. Nobody else matters. There's one that matters. And it's the one that keeps saying, we just weren't on the same page. We missed that. We just didn't have that. We got to get on the same page there, but we just weren't on the same page. It's Caleb Williams. There's only one captain that his voice in that room is going to be the one that forces you to either fall in line or fall out. And so that was my biggest gripe, my biggest issue coming out of that last press conference from Caleb. This is my biggest issue. We weren't on the same page. Get them on your page. You're the page. There is no other page. You're delivering the football. You're the one who has to get the ball to them. Becoming that player-led locker room is going to take time. And so for me, I look at this as not just a Caleb Williams thing, but that focus, that target, that call out that Ben Johnson, to me, that's straight at Caleb. To me, that's straight at Caleb. Hopefully this Bears team able to find some health. I think the big conversation you got to have now, as again, Shemar Turner banged up here, as you're getting ready to head into and you're inching closer towards the trade deadline. Do you need to make a move now? Or is this the kind of team where you're going to say, this is the team you got, let's see what these guys are going to be able to do moving forward? And I'll be honest with you. Depends on what you think this season is. Ben Johnson has said it. He's not expecting, what's the right word? He's not expecting, or he didn't come into this season expecting to lose. He didn't come into this season taking his time. He didn't come into this season saying this is a rebuild type year. He came into this season saying, hey, like, we got to get the job done. But on top of that, I think some of the issues that you're seeing, you got to look at the personnel on. When you talk about the false starts, when you talk about the continued penalties, when you talk about 11 this is not something, 11 penalties in a game. This is not something that's new to Ben Johnson. This is not something that is just this coaching staff's issue. How often have we talked about pre-snap penalties? How often have we talked about this Bears team needing to improve and putting themselves behind the 8 ball and creating issues? And that's been a main conversation with this team. I told y'all before he got here, whoever is the next guy that's coming in here, he's probably going to make your favorite Chicago Bear not your favorite Chicago Bear. Because more than likely, that guy is not going to be on the team. I get it. We want to see the coaches straighten these guys up and fix the guys that are in the locker room. Probably not going to happen. The more than likely scenario is we're going to set a standard. You got to fall in line. If you don't fall in line, you have a great life. We'll see you later down the line when we play you. Thanks for playing the work version of our game. And so I do wonder, when talking about addressing things in this season, if the Bears say, we want to see how this all plays out. We want to see what guys we have in this locker room. We want to see who are the guys that are going to step up, who are the guys that are going to take charge here, who are the guys that are going to be a part of this future of the team. And we don't want to muddy that up by trading for a player that's either going to be a rental or is not somebody that we view here long term, but is somebody that maybe helps you to get some wins this season. So I think that there's two conversations that you can have with this now. The clear conversation is at DB and at defensive end, you need help. And Myles Garrett's over there throwing a hissy fit. I still say go give the world to go get him if you can find a way. I don't know how you do that. You can't even do it this season, so. You gave me all my money. You gave me so much money. Darn it. Why didn't you guys win more? Like, what are you talking about? But I do wonder if the Bears view it as worth it to go out there and make a move this season, because no matter what, Shemar Turner coming back, you hope that he's going to get right. Dominique Robinson going to be out a few weeks as well. That was the other news that we got from today. Dominique Robinson going to miss a few weeks. Kevin Fishbane tweeted this out. Here it is. Defensive end Dominique Robinson will miss a few weeks with a high ankle sprain. Wide receiver Luther Burden is also in concussion protocol. So you need the help. The biggest question is it worth it for you to go get the help this season on that defensive line? Because again, and I continue to say this, what you thought was the answer, Montez Sweat, Gervon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Dayo Odangbo, the pieces you thought were the answer, they were out there. They were healthy. They were unable to pressure the quarterback. They were unable to get home on the quarterback. But they were out there. They're the ones that had 3 pressures on Snoop Huntley. Oh, hold on. We got to block somebody in here. All right. Wow. How about that? Got the racists on the channel. Whoa. Didn't see that one coming. But that's the real situation. We could talk about how we got third string DBs and how we got I ain't gonna say third string. I mean, Deshaun Wright is your starting DB right now. He's somebody that I think is a major piece. But you're down to your 4th string on Nick McLeod. Like all of these things, we could talk about how that's an issue. No matter what, that's your starting defensive line out there. You got to find a way to create more pressure. And you got to find a way to create legitimate pressure. I'm not talking about everybody rushes straight up field and you run past the quarterback who then streaks down the field for 20 plus yards. I don't know what the answer is for this team right now, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't seem like it's any of the guys that you brought in to pay way too much money for that are on this defensive line right now. Now, if we being real, Grady Jarrett was solid for what you brought him here to do in that last game. He's been banged up, but I thought Grady Jarrett had a fine game. And overall, if Caleb Williams doesn't throw an interception, I thought that your defense played well enough for you to survive that game. By the way, we are give it a sec. Over 100 and a chat. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. You are in a your defense did enough for you to win that game. It's just not enough in the long run versus teams that probably are going to be much better than the banged up Ravens. And it's a conversation that we've continued to have. And when you get better quarterbacks on the field, this is the world that you may not want to live in. Look what happened when you gave Snoop Huntley a lack of pressure. Now imagine what happens when that's Jalen Hurts standing back there. Or heck, I'll even throw out, and I know he's banged up, but Joe Flacco standing back there. You give Joe Flacco time, Joe Flacco will pick you apart. You give Joe Flacco the time that you gave Snoop Huntley, especially with that bad offensive line. Bro, he'll look like 2005 Joe Flacco. Especially Jordan Love. We know Jared Goff, what he can do. You got him on the docket, and you got another game to probably finish out his career versus Aaron Rodgers. So you got to find a way to create some kind of pressure to get these guys off their spot. Savage said, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins versus our secondary. Come on, bro. Listen, it doesn't matter what the secondary does if the quarterback's on the ground. The problem is Snoop Huntley had an opportunity to stand back there, smoke a cig, make a Sammy, enjoy a little soup, call the family, get the car wash, walk the dog, and then toss that mug up there. That's the problem. Posterized says 0 turnovers last game. Is it the injuries, the game plan, or both? I mean, listen, you had your opportunity at some. There was one that was coming right to Kevin Byard that ends up getting tipped at the line of scrimmage and ends up being behind him. There was one. It was going straight to Kevin Byard, and it ends up getting tipped, and it goes at the other side of the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Or it goes to the other side of where Kevin Byard was standing. But I mean, to me, I think your game plan is indicative of the pressure that you're able to create up front. I think your game plan is indicative of the lack of pressure that you're able to get on a backup quarterback behind an offensive line that's been banged up the entire time. Yes, Ronnie Stanley was back, but that line shouldn't have picked up right where it left off from. Savage says Snoop was like, I'll hold my own beer in this pocket. Fact. Smokey the Bear said, yo, the D-Hop mugging was insane. Yeah, listen, that was a crime in 2 states. That's a missed call on the referee. Nothing you could say about it, nothing you could do about it. You should have put yourself in a position where it didn't come down to that call. That's what I say about it. You shouldn't have put yourself in a position where that call was a determining factor in the game. And listen, we'll be breaking this down even more, getting ready to head to the studio to talk with the boys about some of these things and how we got to talk about Shemar Turner out with an ACL. I think the trade deadline is uber important right now. Of course, looking ahead at the game, that'll be tomorrow's morning breeze. So tap in with us on that. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Ted is like a boss said, how long is Kyler out for? Kyler will be out. They said the minimum. Is what is expected right now, but you never know. But 4 weeks. So we'll see if that does play out. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Show love as always. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Let's hope that we can get something positive going into this week.